It was 2:15 in the morning when I found myself driving through the vast emptiness of West Texas. I had been on the road for hours, trying to make my way to Arizona, heading for my sister's place. The highway stretched on like an endless black ribbon, the only thing visible being the occasional tumbleweed tumbling across the road. My car's fuel gauge was dangerously low, and I was desperately hoping I'd reach the next gas station before I ran out. That's when I saw them. Headlights. At first, I was relieved. Another car meant I wasn't entirely alone out here, right? But then, my stomach dropped. The headlights were getting closer. Too close. The vehicle, an old rusted-out pickup truck, was gaining on me rapidly. I could see the dents and scratches all over its grille, the harsh beams blinding me. I tapped my brakes gently to signal the driver to back off, but instead, he swerved into the other lane, almost as if preparing to pass. My heart started pounding in my chest. I didn't know what to think. The truck didn't pass, though. It stayed alongside me, matching my speed. I glanced over. The man in the truck was staring straight ahead, but his eyes, they were wild, unblinking. His face looked gaunt, like someone who hadn't slept in days. And then, I saw it. His hand lifted, and there, in the eerie glow of the headlights, I saw the gleam of something metallic. A gun. Panic surged through me like ice in my veins. My foot slammed down on the gas pedal. The engine roared as I pushed my car to its limits, but the truck stayed right behind me, as if it were toying with me. The chase lasted for what felt like hours, but in reality, it was only 10 minutes, maybe less. I could see an exit up ahead, a dimly flickering gas station sign. It was my only hope. I swerved onto the off-ramp, my tires screeching as they fought for grip on the gravel. The truck followed, relentless. My heart was in my throat as I pulled up to the gas pumps and leapt from my car, running toward the small deserted building. I banged on the door, my breath ragged, desperate. "Please, someone help." The door creaked open, and an old man with a shotgun appeared in the doorway. His eyes hardened when he saw the truck. "Get inside," he ordered, his voice gravelly. Without a second thought, I obeyed. The truck screeched to a halt in front of the station. I looked back, my body frozen in terror as the man stepped out. He was tall, wearing a dirty plaid shirt. The shotgun gleamed menacingly in his hands. The truck driver didn't hesitate. He sped off, tires screeching as he disappeared into the night. The old man shut the door behind me and leaned against it. "You're lucky," he said, voice low. "You're not the first person he's chased. Some don't make it to this station." I felt a cold chill crawl down my spine. The man didn't explain any further, and I didn't dare ask. I just knew that whatever had been chasing me, I hadn't escaped unscathed. I'd always enjoyed solo road trips, the freedom, the quiet. I was on my way from Kansas to Colorado, planning to camp along the way. But as night fell, things started to take an unsettling turn. It was just after dusk when I hit a stretch of highway cutting through a thick forest. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a ghostly light across the road. I was barely a few miles in when I saw her, a woman standing alone by the side of the road, her thumb outstretched, signaling for a ride. Her dress was pale, torn at the edges, and her hair, long and unkempt, obscured most of her face. I felt a shiver run down my spine, but I was tired and thought she might need help. I slowed down, But then something stopped me. Something told me to keep going. Maybe it was the eerie air around her, or the way she didn't seem to move at all. Without thinking, I sped up and passed her, but then I glanced in my rearview mirror, and she was gone. I felt a sudden chill in the air. My breath fogged up the window. I adjusted the heater, thinking nothing of it, but the cold remained. Then I saw it, the back seat. It was just a glimpse at first, but there, sitting behind me, was a woman. Her face was pale, her eyes empty. She wasn't moving, just staring, cold and lifeless. My heart skipped a beat. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. My hands were frozen on the steering wheel, my foot pressing down harder on the gas, but I wasn't driving any faster. I just stared, my mind racing to explain what I was seeing. But there was no explanation. The only thing I could do was ask, "What do you want?" There was no answer, but I heard a soft whisper. No, more like a sigh. It sounded like a word, or maybe a plea. Stop. I wasn't sure why I did it. Maybe I thought I could make sense of it, or maybe my body was already responding before my mind could catch up. I pulled over. The car came to a screeching halt. Everything went quiet. The cold left the cabin. I sat there, frozen, staring ahead, my mind reeling. When I finally turned to look at the back seat, she was gone. I don't know how long I sat there before another car pulled up behind me. A man, probably in his late 50s, got out. He tapped on my window, his face full of concern. "Are you all right?" he asked. I told him everything, expecting him to laugh, tell me I was just exhausted, or chalk it up to stress. But instead his face went pale. He looked around nervously before saying, "You're not the first person to see her." He told me about the Vanishing Hitchhiker, a legend of a woman who appeared on roadsides, desperate for a ride. Some said she was searching for her killer. Others said she was just lost. But the one thing they all agreed on: she never stays. She just vanishes. A few months ago, I was on a cross-country road trip, taking a shortcut through Kentucky. My GPS showed an unmarked road that would shave an hour off my journey. It looked perfect, so I decided to take it. But from the moment I turned onto that road, something felt off. The trees were dense, the road narrow. It felt like the forest was closing in on me. I kept driving, trying to shake the feeling of being watched. Then I saw the signs, crude wooden boards nailed to the trees. The first one read, "Turn back." The next said, "You're not welcome." And the last, well, it just said, "Leave now." My heart raced, but there was no turning back. The road was too narrow, the trees too thick. I pressed on. Then I saw something, a shadow, fast and darting. My foot slammed on the brake, the tires screeching as I tried to make sense of what I had just seen. It was too quick, too strange. A person? An animal? I wasn't sure, but before I could make sense of it, the engine sputtered, and then it died. My hands shook as I tried to restart the car. Nothing. I could hear something. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. They were coming closer. I locked my doors, panic rising. I fumbled for my phone, but there was no signal. And then, just as suddenly as the footsteps began, they stopped. The silence was deafening. I don't know how long I sat there, waiting, my mind racing, my heart pounding in my chest. And then, as if something had decided I'd suffered enough, the engine roared back to life. Without thinking, I floored the gas pedal and tore down the road, not daring to look back. Later, At a local gas station, I learned that the road had a dark history. People had disappeared there. No one ever found them. Their cars were left abandoned, empty. These stories remind us of the dangers lurking in the shadows, the things we can't explain, and the eerie truths we often overlook. The open road may seem safe, but it's full of secrets waiting to be uncovered. So the next time you drive late at night or take a shortcut down an unfamiliar path, remember, there's no telling what might be waiting just beyond the headlights. Stay safe out there and always trust your instincts, because in the dark, not everything is what it seems. With that being said, success. I achieved my goal of 1 week of uploads. Wasn't easy, but here we are. Some misses, but some that you viewers seem to like. Mixed bag, but hey, I'm just happy to be here, still doing what I do with these stories. But enough of that in saying thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future uploads, since at the end of the day, we're always watching.